girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex, dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Tie me up with dreams, the only thing I need. When I'm down, lift me up with your company. There's no telling what you and me creating. We're on the same wavelength. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation, make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money, make you look so lovely. Never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex, dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. You're my island, tray of diamonds. It was fake, help me find you. You're a blessing, reminiscent of the time when I found myself guessing. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation, make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money, make you look so lovely. Never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex, dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah. Ooh girl, nah nah.
And it all turned out to be true.
What I find really interesting about this whole saga is we framed it as Harry and Meghan's war on the royal family, when actually it's Harry and Meghan's war on the press and the media.
That's
and
true.
as they say at the start of episode 1, they say so many books and shows and stories have been written about us, we wanted to have our own say. And remember, the purpose of the PR office at the royal family is to keep the royals in the press all the time. So you have to remember, when I work in newsrooms, it's a fact that every anti-Harry and Meghan story comes from Kensington Palace.
But why haven't...
And if it comes from Kensington Palace, why are they briefing against their own grandson?
Well, okay, that's a very... The idea...
Why are there never any
I think that's fascinating.
About Prince William?
Were William and Kate involved in briefing against them originally? I don't know. That's a good point. But having a war on the media, I don't know whether that's worth the candle. Lucy and...
Yeah. But I think we can all agree at this point that it's the media and the royal family who've gone to war with Harry and Meghan. Oh, what can we say, folks? We'll get through it, like I always say. But with that, welcome to the Thursday podcast, everyone. As always, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Thank you once again for getting me to 16,000. Over 1,000 new subscribers this month. Appreciate you all for joining. And I do think with everything that's going on, people are looking for the other side of the story, basically, because if today has proved anything, it's that the UK media is going full guns a-blazing against this couple and anyone who wants to defend them. The inhumane, demonic reaction from some people in media is just nothing that I think I've ever seen before. the clearly coordinated way in which the morning TV shows in the UK and even some American media. I mean, American media, when this news broke yesterday, was being a little bit more balanced. And I would say that it's being more balanced than the UK still, but you can see certain news channels that are trying to sway public opinion against the Sussexes. And you would think, for the sake of journalism, but let's be honest, none of these people even know what that is anymore. They would at least wait until we have all of the details, all of the CCTV footage. But no. The View today, absolutely disgusting. There's Raggedy Ann hating women. I mean, I was literally sitting there thinking, what is all of this for? You know, one of the things that I've heard over and over again is that the royal family didn't learn from Diana. They didn't learn the lessons. I actually think that there's one lesson that they absolutely learned. If there is someone who you see as a threat, you have to dehumanize them. Because the problem with Diana was that even though they got rid of her, they didn't manage to dehumanize her. They tried, and they're using the same playbook now. That playbook of these people are paranoid, they're hypocrites, but they didn't manage to dehumanize Diana enough. So when Diana died, you had this great outpouring of love. And I believe that's what's going on with Harry and Meghan now. Because if they can dehumanize them, nobody's going to believe anything they say. They're going to nitpick everything they say. And God forbid something happens, they'll be just as nasty with the reaction. I honestly believe that if something had happened last night and we'd woken up to the news that Harry and Meghan have left us and Doria, it would have been, oh, well, they didn't have good enough security. Oh, well, if they were in the UK, this wouldn't have happened. That's what you would have gotten. But God said, no, that didn't happen. You didn't get your pictures that you wanted. Those last images that you wanted, the same way you were snapping away at Harry's mother, it didn't happen. And it's not going to happen because now the whole world is watching. Whole world is watching and the whole world is on high alert. But as always, I do like to try and start the podcast with something positive. And yeah, it is Harry and Meghan's 5th anniversary tomorrow. Presumably on the timelines, on Spaces, they will probably be having some kind of party. And yeah, we're just gonna try and remember all the positive and good things. And you know, we've still got the fundraiser going, and I do believe that as the days go on, we are gonna see and hear more information, because even today there's things that I've seen that would suggest that the tabloid media are just making stuff up and throwing in spin. Sorry, just give me a sec, because I just have to send myself a few videos because I've got a couple things to play for you today. Sorry, just give me a moment to upload something. All right. Okay, so many slides to get through. I don't even know don't even know where to start. Where should we start? Okay, so I'll start with the follow-up statement that Harry and Meghan's rep put out. So this is what she has said. Speaking exclusively to Sky News, the couple's press secretary, Ashley Hansen, said, "I have never experienced their vulnerability as much as I did last night. They were incredibly scared and shaken up. There were several times where the car stopped and security got out," she told me. And we saw that in the footage that I played yesterday. There were instances where the police confronted the paparazzi and had asked them to stop or give them space to do this safely. Unfortunately, that wish was not respected. Tom Buddha, a former detective with the NYPD, who also worked at the US State Department, said they used e-bikes to help their sedans to keep up. So this is another thing. There were people with e-bikes, there were people with scooters. I mean, who are these people? Because I've heard several people say, and I'm going to play something that was actually on the Breakfast Club today. People saying that this is just not the way that the paparazzi in New York behave, because the celebrities in New York all the time. A lot of celebrities live there and they don't behave like this. They said, "I witnessed at least 15 lights blown by the paparazzi vehicles." So basically they ran reds. Mr. Buddha continued, "As security, we don't know what the intention of these supposed paparazzi are, and we don't know who's who, and they were driving recklessly. Our assumption was they were paparazzi trying to make lots of money, but they were driving aggressively and badly. The Duke and Duchess were a bit shaken up." And I don't know whether it was Sky or ITV News, one of them interviewed one of the paps, but he had his hood on. So they wouldn't even show the person's face. We don't even know who this person is. If at all, they were even one of the paps. Could have been anyone, if it helps spin their narrative. And then you also have this stupid cab driver. Yeah, I'm going to call him a stupid cab driver because he is. Not because he's a cab driver, just because he is a fool. Who has been going around giving interviews. And every single time he gives an interview, his story seems to change slightly. Now, he was on Piers Morgan, and like when he was on Piers Morgan, the tone on Piers Morgan was a little bit more tame. Piers seemed pretty disappointed in what he had to say, but then his tone on, I think this is a Sky News clip, completely changed. So I'm just gonna play this and then we'll discuss.
You know, I was crossing on 67th Street and then the security guard hailed me, and next thing you know, Prince Harry and his wife were hopping into my cab, and as we went a block, we got blocked by a garbage truck, and all of a sudden paparazzis came and started taking pictures. And then they were just about to give me the location where they were gonna go, but then they told me to circle back to the precinct, so we circled back to the precinct. Nice people, they look nervous. I mean, I think they were being chased the whole day or something, so they were pretty nervous, you know. But the security guard, he was on it.
And what do you think about the description of this, you know, the near catastrophic event?
Oh, I don't think that's true. I think that's all, you know, exaggerated and stuff like that, so don't read too much into that. You know.
But as far as you were concerned, when they were in your taxi, you know, did you feel like you were in danger?
No. New York City is the safest place to be, right? And there's police stations, there's cops on every corner, so there's no need to be afraid in New York.
You didn't see any cars going over curbs or people banging on
your
window?
I didn't see that. No, that must have happened earlier if they were being chased before on like 57, like Mayor Adam was saying, but not with me. Yeah.
But they did seem nervous to you?
They did seem nervous. Yeah.
Was it a good tip?
Yeah, it was great, man. 10-minute drive, $50 or that's who you asked for, right? You can't beat that.
Oh my God, 3 people were running from the paparazzi in a dangerous situation. How hilarious. I mean, you can just see that this guy is just lapping up his 15 minutes. There was nothing funny about this situation at all. And they have been using his words to twist the narrative since yesterday. I don't know what about this is funny. I don't know what about this is a laughing matter, why he's smiling, posing away from the cameras. I mean, they're probably paying him, you know, a good couple of $100 per appearance. Enjoy it, sir. You have never dealt with the British tabloids, and you may well regret your decision. Because they're using him now. If they don't get what they want, you know what you're going to be hearing? Harry and Meghan's cab driver's mistress speaks out, or something like that. This is how the British tabloids are. If I was him, I would have remained very quiet and just waited for things to play out and actually speak to maybe to the authorities or to Harry and Meghan's spokespeople directly. I don't know why you would parade yourself around like this. I guess everybody wants their 15 minutes and their $50, right? Just wow. I mean, and thank goodness, actually, because this is another thing that's now come to light, is that they went to the police station not once, maybe 2 or 3 times. So they were definitely at a police station at some point. I'm hoping we can get CCTV of that just to add clarity to the situation, because people are just lying so much. And thank goodness that they didn't go to their end destination with this guy, because then he would have leaked where they were staying. The whole reason why they were circling was to get the paparazzi off the trail. Now with this blabbermouth, thank goodness they got out of his cab. Oh, I tell you, Charles and William, I don't even think karma describes what is coming, because this now has gotten to such a dangerous situation that, yeah. Anyway, next thing I wanted to mention was, oh yeah, and the mayor of New York. I also don't understand why this guy could not have just said, I don't have the full details. I will speak when I had the full details. We'll do an investigation and end it there. He is the one that used the term high-speed chase that the tabloids are now running with. That was never in the Sussex's spokesperson's statement at all. So he has also been part of the reason why there is so much misinformation. I'm sure the New York police are also somewhat embarrassed, because clearly this just was not handled properly. But I'm gonna play some audio from, this is from The Breakfast Club. Now, The Breakfast Club is a US podcast talk show, and their offices are quite near to the building where Harry and Meghan were. So this is what they had to say about this.
Happened very close to here. When we were leaving the building yesterday, there was nothing but cameras all over the place, and I was trying to figure out what happened. And I guess, she was leaving the ballroom, but they said that the paparazzi allegedly hit like 6, 7 cars over there, and they said it was a big thing.
That's what we were told yesterday. Because
They said they hit the cars.
yeah, we were told that yesterday. We were told that the paparazzi was going around the block, because I guess she was in a building over here. She was in an event over here.
What is it? The Siegfried Ballroom over there? Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
And they was like paparazzi was hitting cars.
Yeah.
Trying to get a picture.
Which is weird, because in New York City you really don't see wild paparazzi crazy like that chasing people, because you see so many people. You don't really have that, here. But
y'all losing y'all damn mind over Meghan Markle. Come on, stop.
Well, they allegedly said it was no actual collision, so I don't know if they've been hit, resulting in an injury or accident or what.
These were parked cars.
Park cars.
Yeah, these were
parked cars.
Yeah, the security told us that yesterday. Security literally told us today. Meghan Markle was at the ballroom or whatever last night.
Ballroom,
The paparazzi kept going around in circles just to get a picture of her, and they was hitting parked cars.
Yeah.
I heard that before I even heard from the mayor.
Okay, well, the mayor said it was capped, but
happened very close to here.
So they're saying that the security told them that the paparazzi were hitting parked cars. Legs, you said they tried to confuse the narrative because they don't point out that they were in the SUV originally. Most ignore that point. Yeah, and the whole thing about what car they left in, that's so easily debunked. We've got paparazzi footage of that. They got in their SUV, and then I guess they tried to get into the taxi to try and avert being followed. Yeah, Black Queen, I've lost trust and confidence in humans. Disappointed. It's just the lack of empathy and just the nastiness is just something that I've never seen it before. Because can you imagine if this was Kate and William? It would be, oh my god, poor Kate. I hope she didn't cry. It's like at the end of the day, you had paparazzi who were acting aggressively. Clearly they were shaken. Given what Harry has been through, of course they would be shaken. It's like if you don't care, then please keep it moving. But why to be so nasty? Yeah, I walk very differently in this world now, I have to say. Because I don't care what anybody wants to tell me. I feel like a lot of this, particularly with the hatred of Meghan, comes back to this whole idea of the uppity Negro, of who do you think you are, of why are you not in your place, and because you're not in your place, I can't feel a sense of superiority that I should be feeling. And it's like there's enough room for everybody to shine. Anyway, I mean, one big question from yesterday that we definitely need answers to is how is it that the Daily Mail and the Express got those pictures first? Mind you, the owner of the photo agency, his name, just give me a sec because I think I got something on him earlier. I just didn't put it on the slides. Right, so the photographic agency is called Black Grid UK. So it is a UK linked paparazzi agency. Like the owner is a guy named Steve Ginsberg, and also a guy named Boris Nizon, and they also their partner is Alex Kantif, and apparently Boris Nizon's daughter is dating a well-known NAZI. I don't want the censors to get me for that, but apparently she's dating a well-known NAZI. So this is the type of people that we're dealing with. They really don't care. They see her as a cash cow, and the cash well would overflow if they were able to get those last pictures of something dramatic happening. And there's a piece of audio that I want to play from a paparazzi. Now, I don't really have clarity on when this was, because when I first heard this, I thought that this was referring to what happened last night, but there was other people online were saying that this was referring to an incident that happened when they were in New York last time, when they when they went to the restaurant, but it was played on a radio show today. Either way, whenever this was said, I think it just shows the mentality of these paps. So have a listen to this.
2 hours in New York City after an awards ceremony. A bit earlier, we spoke to Simon Morgan. He's worked as a police protection officer for senior royals, and he explained the mindset of some of the paparazzi.
But I did speak to one of them and I said, look, you're taking the same photograph over and over again. We are just walking from a restaurant into a car and we're leaving. I said, why are you doing it? You must have hundreds of photos like this. And the reply was, and it did make me take a step back. And the guy just said, well, this could be the last picture of Prince Harry alive and I've got it. And therefore that to me is worth millions.
And there you have it. They are literally praying to get pictures like that. Like what do you even say to that? What do you even say to that? And while all this is going on, people have been wondering, what are the royal family, if anything, what are they going to say? I'm telling you now, they're not going to say anything. I don't think they will. Because even when Diana died, it took for the Prime Minister to call the Queen and say, get your ass down there to them sea of flowers and fly the flag. Because people are getting angry. And nobody's even died in this situation. So I don't expect Charles or William or Catherine to say anything. In fact, Catherine was out and about today, smiling and waving and grinning and grinning and grinning. And they also posted this on the royal timeline. It was a message of condolences to Myanmar and Bangladesh for the cyclones that have been happening there. I'm so sure that the people of Myanmar and Bangladesh, by the way, once part of the British Empire, I'm so sure that this is exactly what they were looking for while going through cyclones. Thoughts and prayers on social media from the Unroyal Mafia. Not a single care package, no nothing, just thoughts and prayers. Why even bother? And the fact that they released this when they haven't said anything about what's been going on with their own relatives. And if you go to the royal Instagram, the comment sections are brutal. Basically, all of them saying, what about Harry? Nothing about your son and daughter-in-law. Someone else saying, aside from your thoughts and prayers, will you two contribute to the need of the people? I'm astonished your youngest son and his wife almost met the same fate as your late ex, and you've made no comments. Peeps, don't expect no comments from these cold-hearted deviants. And the comments got so bad on the royal Instagram, they had to just limit them. So you can't post anymore. Wait. And while all this is going on, there is a lady, an 81-year-old woman, who is still in a coma, having been hit by a royal motorcade last week. And there has not been the same level of vitriol as we've seen towards Harry and Meghan in the last 24 hours. An old woman is in a coma because she got hit by a royal motorcade. Almost near silence. Barely reported. To your comments before I continue. Thank you so much, Phyllis Johnson, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. One sec, folks. Okay. Claudia, Harry needs to focus on making money and raising his kids. Leave England alone. Well, they left England alone for 2 years, and England won't leave them alone. The British tabloid press won't leave them alone. Do you know, squaddies were having this conversation in Spaces the other day, and somebody's sorry, not the other day, actually, this morning, and somebody said, "Oh, why doesn't Harry just leave it? Why doesn't Harry just drop the lawsuit?" And this is the reason why Harry should not drop the lawsuit, because it doesn't matter what Harry does. They will come after him anyway. And this has been proven by the fact that they were silent. They were silent for almost 2 years. And in fact, in those 2 years, you only saw a handful of appearances, and it was all to do with, charity work and working with organizations. They didn't talk about the royal family. And they were still coming after them. And the reason they were still coming after them is because as long as Harry and Meghan are there, as far as they're concerned, they are a threat. They are a threat to their popularity. So they don't seem to realize, and somebody needs to please bang it into their heads, that people, it doesn't matter how much you have tried to get people to hate Harry and Meghan. And a lot of people have fallen for this smear campaign, but that hatred that they have for Harry and Meghan is not translating into popularity for you. That 6-year smear campaign that you have driven has not translated into popularity for you. They don't seem to understand this. I mean, Catherine was at a school today. Barely any coverage in comparison to the coverage of Harry and Meghan the last 24 hours. Sky News had to force, and I say force, they had to force breaking news about Kate being at the center that she went to today. They were talking about mental health. It was a breaking news, Kate Middleton at mental health awareness center or whatever it was. That is not breaking news. That is propaganda. So many other things going on in the country today, and that is breaking news. It's like the only way that they can get attention or stay in the public conscious is because of this invisible contract that they have with the media. Because they have not focused on doing anything that is actually newsworthy or relatable. So somebody, please tell those courtiers in the palace that they need to just let it go. Thank you so much, Caroline. Okay, let me try and read a couple of your comments. Yeah, Harry, just release that second book, bro. Release that second book. I mean, at this point, what are you waiting for? I mean, I guess whatever has not come to light yet, it just needs to come out. And I think even Tyler Perry said there's so much more they could have said. At this point, just say it. Just put everything out there. Heck, if we go spiraling into constitutional crisis, so be it. Just so be it. Because I often use the analogy of like Harry Potter and Voldemort with Harry and Meghan and the royal families. Like one can't survive if the other one is alive. Oh my God. And it's just sad because the battle is 100% one-sided. All Harry and Meghan want to do is just exist in peace. Okay, what else did I want to say? Yes, so court case continues. And I mean, it just adds to all of the weird suspicion about this incident. So Rebecca Barry posted, court is now hearing from American private investigator Dano Hanks, who says he accessed databases illegitimately to obtain information and sell to the Daily Mirror and Sunday Mirror. In the past, Dano Hanks has said he illegally accessed private information about the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, as she was then, including her social security number for rival tabloid The Sun. Dano Hanks admits being a convicted criminal, having been arrested around 50 times and spending a total of 8 years in prison. So this is who The Sun hired to try and get private information on Meghan. He says in his witness statement, I am sure that the UK newspapers and their journalists knew what I was doing, not least because they could see the product of what they commissioned, personal and protected data that could not be obtained lawfully. No one's going to tell me what happened the other night wasn't planned. No one's going to tell me it wasn't planned. This is what the UK tabloids and the royal family are scared about. Because I don't think I have the picture. I usually do have it. I think I might have deleted it to make room. But you all have seen, I've showed it many, many times on this podcast, of Camilla and Charles at a party that the Sun was throwing for Charles. He had a birthday cake that said The Sun on it. And actually, a couple of days after the Queen died, Charles was seen with the lead editor of The Sun, Victoria something, I think her name is. And The Sun is the very paper that hired a private investigator to spy on Meghan. I believe that all roads with a lot of this stuff to do with this court case lead back to the palace, because they are right in bed. And I've also shown you pictures that you can just Google them if you want. Camilla and Jonathan Rothermere. I mean, all the royals, I think, are photographed with Jonathan Rothermere, who owns the Daily Mail. And in fact, it was only weeks after that, weeks after Meghan won her case against the Daily Mail, the privacy case, Camilla was seen kissing and hugging Jonathan Rothermere at a garden party. So right in bed with them. But that's the update from the court case today. This is the type of information that they don't want to put this out there. And I haven't seen this in the press today at all. I wonder if, tomorrow's morning talk shows, I don't know. I doubt they'll cover this. I doubt they'll cover, because this is criminal. Whatever way you want to try and spin this, you can't. It's criminal. Some other news that came out today: the Queen's funeral. Cost for the Queen's funeral. Let's say guess. Anybody want to guess how much the Queen's funeral costs, or rather, how much they're claiming it costs? Put some guesses in the comment section. Let's see who gets close. I'll play some music. Guess the cost of the Queen's funeral. God. Sorry, bit of echo there. Let's see, we've got 1,221,000,000. 100 million? 6 million, Tara. Ain't no way. that was probably just like half the security bill. No. Okay, I think a couple of you have gotten it. So the cost was, drum roll please, I can even find the slide. There we go. So the total cost they're saying was 161 million. I don't believe that for a second. I think it's definitely got to be more, because they did a whole tour up and down the country. Got to be more than that. But this is the breakdown that they gave. Department for Culture, Media and Sport, 57 million. Department for Transport, 2.5 million. See, that's why I don't believe that this is the final cost. Because I remember looking at the security costs for securing like the London Underground, the whole of the London Underground for big events like this, and I think it was something like 9 million. Anyway, Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, 2 million. Home Office, 73 million. Ministry of Defence, 2.8 million. That's got to be more. That's got to be more. Northern Ireland Office, 2.1 million. Scottish Government, 18 million. Scottish Government spent 18 million. Welsh Government, 2 million. Total 161.743 million. Oi, that is a hell of a lot of money. But according to Mr. Andy here, a bargain, taking into consideration how much revenue was generated. You know, they say that all the time, and yet they can never actually prove that revenue was generated. Flower cards, Paddington's Travel World TV exposure. Yes, there are people struggling out there, but you can't begrudge a proper fitting send-off. Her Majesty was a one-off and served us all. So Mr. Andy there thinking that it was absolutely worth the money. Right. Just one last story and then we will wrap up. The Middletons. The Middletons have sold pieces. This is from Celebrity Kaiser. In early April, we first heard that Carol and Michael Middleton were suddenly looking to sell Party Pieces, the shady business which sells party supplies. Before that, we heard a lot about how Party Pieces was losing money, hand over fist, and basically the business was going down the drain at a steady clip. What made it even more notable was the admission that the Middletons were trying to pay a six-figure dowry to sell the company. As in Party Pieces is saddled with debt and near bankruptcy, and the Middletons would pay someone to take the company off their hands. Even more notable was the fact that two of Carol's business partners suddenly quit Party Pieces back in March. Well, after all of that drama, the Middletons finally sold Party Pieces, only it's much more complicated than that. Sky News has learned that Party Pieces Holdings, which was launched by Carol and Michael Middleton in 1987, was bought on Thursday by James Sinclair, an entrepreneur. Sources said the sale had been implemented through a pre-packed administration, meaning it had appointed insolvency practitioners before being sold without some of its liabilities. It was unclear what price Mr. Sinclair's company, Teddy Tastic Bear Co. Limited, had paid or how big the liabilities were that had been left behind. According to his personal website, Mr. Sinclair operates a £30 million business, which includes leisure, childcare, outdoor attractions, commercial properties, arts and crafts, manufacturing, as well as one of the UK's oldest ice cream companies, Rossi Ice Cream Company. One moment, folks. Okay, so the Middletons' preferred option had been to sell Party Pieces with a dowry and avert insolvencies, but this proved impossible, according to insiders. Interpath Advisory is understood to have been appointed as administrator in court on Thursday morning. The Middletons, who conceived the business as they were seeking inspiration for daughter Kate's 5th birthday, instructed Interpath to find a buyer earlier this year. The pre-pack sale comes just 12 days after the King's coronation. Their daughter's father-in-law, according to information circulated to potential buyers, Party Pieces had shown some recent UK performance contraction during international expansion and focus on margins. And then the Kaiser article goes on to say, wow, so the Middletons were in debt up to the eyeballs and a court had to step in because Party Pieces was insolvent. I bet James Sinclair purchased Party Pieces for pennies. And I'm also sure that he was probably promised some introductions or maybe some tickets to Ascot or something. Basically, it was, as we assumed, Party Pieces has been a house of cards for years and the business was nowhere near as successful as the Middletons had long claimed. Considering that Party Pieces is operated out of Bucklebury, I wonder if the sale including the Party Pieces commercial real estate, as in, did the Middletons have to sell off every part of the Party Pieces business, including the physical buildings? Very, very interesting. Like I've always said, I think there's something very, very dodgy. Not to say that there maybe wasn't a time when Party Pieces was making some money, but I don't think it was ever as big as they wanted it to make out, and that potentially, allegedly, for the lawyers listening, it could have been masking some other nefarious activities. Anywho, that's all I have to say for now. Now, Meghan has another appearance, so the Gracies, and there's no word on what's going to happen with that. But I don't know. I hope that Harry and Meghan do ultimately what's best for them. But I hope that they don't allow this to scare them into, just hiding in the house. Because that's essentially what the Unruly Mafia and the British tabloid press want. Especially with this court case going on. They want to scare them away. They want to rattle them. and they essentially just want them to disappear, drop the court case, and stay silent. But we all know that even if they did that, they would not stop. Right. I'll finish with some of your comments and then we'll call it a day. Thank you as always, everyone. Thanks for your support. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your donations. Just keep praying. They sold party pieces to a person that will use it as a tax write-off. Well, I'm not an expertise on that, but if you say so, I'll take your word for it. Angelina, you said, I feel like the Middletons are preparing for something. Everyone is watching the clock on Charles and waiting to get upgraded. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what's so sad about this. They don't see each other as family members. It's just TikTok on the clock. When am I going to get my turn? How utterly sad. Like, what a way to live. I mean, maybe this is why Camilla's daughter and granddaughter were looking so damn miserable at the coronation. Myra, you said, now they're going to live from the Duchy of Cornwall. Well, you got to question how much the Duchy of Cornwall is even making or where that money is going if Charles is running around getting cash money bags from all types of nefarious figures. Oh God, I really do hope that when the time is right, Harry releases whatever footage that he has on his phone. And obviously they switched to a taxi, but I'm so sure that they've probably got reverse dash cams in all of those SUVs that they travel around in. Because I won't forget that scene from the Netflix documentary. And I feel like so many times Harry and Meghan have dropped hints. You know, Harry saying, I've still got another 400 pages of Spare. Oh, and by the way, Spare, back at number 1 now. Spare is back at number 1. Sorry, almost forgot to mention that. People want answers. Anyway, I was saying, I feel like Harry and Meghan have given so many just warnings. And even when you watch the Netflix documentary, like, the fact that they're keeping video diaries. They're keeping video diaries. Like, man, the royal family are just so dumb. The royal family are so dumb. Anyway, this is going to play out the way it's going to play out. But it's the royals that are going to end up with egg on their face and perhaps even worse. Because history is not going to repeat itself. History is not going to repeat itself. At least not in the way that they want it to. Harry and Meghan are going to be absolutely fine. If any type of history repeats itself, it's going to be for the other royals. Google King Charles I. Gwen Marie, you said, Harry got the video and I am ready to see it. Yeah, I'm ready to see it too. Show us everything. Tony, I think they have footage of the whole thing, and when they are ready, they will hit the aggressors. I am sure of it. Yeah. And, Harry and Meghan have been so strategic with everything that they've done. And timing is their strong point. I also think, though, guys and dolls, that Meghan announcing that she was signed with WME, I think that really shook them up. Because the day or two following that announcement, like, you've never heard so much silence. Like, we literally got a good 24, 48 hours of silence. They didn't know what to say. Stunned. Completely stunned. because the one you said was irrelevant, nobody was going to pay attention to, nobody was going to like got signed by the biggest agency and the biggest agent in Hollywood. Y'all, Ari Emanuel, I don't think he knows what he's gotten himself into. I feel like today is the day Ari has found out because I think they probably told him it's going to get crazy, and today he's realized what that crazy looks like. Because for them, it's just a business decision. But unfortunately, there's a lot of baggage and weight that comes with working with Harry and Meghan. And I wonder, even in all his years of Hollywood craziness, if Ari Emanuel has ever faced anything like this. But I guess all of those years of craziness, well, I hope it's prepared him for this, because Harry and Meghan and their team need strong people. Boy. Trinette, you guys, I'm so tired of this. I have not slept well since it happened. We all know that was a hit. Yeah. Yeah, do try and get away from social media. Try and get away from the people who are just being mean and horrible. You know, you don't need to ingest it all the time, you know? Give yourself breaks if you need to take breaks. And you said the world is watching and waiting. Also, the other royals. This means the royal family will need to beef up proper security for that family. Well, you know, there are some Republicans who are, you know, they feel very strongly anti-monarchy as well. So it's like, I think unintentionally, they're just putting everybody in danger, because for whatever reason, Harry and Meghan just elicit such strong feelings in people, and they have caused this. Oh my gosh. Jacqueline, you said, I agree with you that history will not repeat itself, and if anything comes close, it will be the other way around, all around. Listen, I'm now 100% believing that Nostradamus prophecy, that Charles will not be king for long. And Ari is a very smart man. Oh, I hope he's smart enough to handle this. Guess we'll find out. Oh, I saw Victoria Arbiter today. Victoria Arbiter, I couldn't see her eyelashes. It could have just been the camera or the lighting, but she's back. Ari knows Chicago very well. Well, his brother was mayor of Chicago, but not New York. So Lorna, I'm just waiting for WME to drop Whoopi Goldberg. I don't think they're gonna drop Whoopi Goldberg. I don't think they're gonna do that. But yeah, Whoopi and the woman at the View. Oh my god, just you've never seen anything so bitter. Like, I really find it amazing how Meghan just seems to like trigger the bitterness in people. I don't. Anyway, we've had this conversation 100 times. Right, everyone, please do take a deep breath. Say a prayer. The truth will start to trickle out bit by bit. And yeah, like I said, all will be well, folks. All will be well, okay? I'm pretty sure Baron is on shortly, so we can go head over to there. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, okay? Ciao.
Baby girl, you're so fine. I can't get you off my mind. Ooh, girl, nah, nah. I need. When I'm down, lift me up with your company. There's no telling what you and me creating. We're on the same wavelength. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger. You give me motivation, make my life vacation. When we are together, I surrender. Give you all my money, make you look so lovely, never feeling lonely. Baby girl, you're so fine, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh girl, nah nah, ooh girl, nah nah. Baby girl, don't need to flex, dance to the rhythm and you do all the rest. Ooh girl, nah nah, ooh girl, nah nah. You're my island, tray of diamonds, big was fake, help me find you. You're a blessing, reminiscing of the time when I found myself guessing. Feel the beat tonight, something good inside. Set you free, let you lose all track of time. Come on, have a conversation. Don't treat me like a stranger.